Today we'll be ranking the opening tracks by Ozzy Osbourne. This video was requested by channel member Bronson. So if you're interested in becoming a member of this channel, there is a join button below and you can see all the details there. Now for this video, I will be ranking the opening track for each of his solo albums, not counting Black Sabbath albums. I have 13 songs to talk about. I will include the Undercover album this time. Now let's get into it, starting at the bottom with number 13. At number 13 is Rocky Mountain Way from Undercover. Usually when I do ranking videos, I don't include this covers album, but I decided to include it for this one. It's actually not too bad. I'm not really a big fan of this album. If you don't know, the original song was released in 1973 by Joe Walsh, and it's a radio rock hit. I think Ozzy does a pretty decent cover. It's not exactly like the original. There's a little bit more heaviness in the guitars, but it also maintains that same bluesy sound. He has some backing vocalists on the track and a really thick and heavy bass guitar sound. Here's some interesting trivia though. Jerry Cantrell plays guitars on this, which I never knew. Mike Bordin is on drums and Chris Weiss is on bass, and he's someone who's played with The Cult and a few other bands, so not too bad. Coming in number 12 is Straight to Hell from Ordinary Man. This album was released 10 years after the previous album, so it's kind of like a comeback for him. And it's a different type of album because he has a lot of guest musicians. The song is pretty good. It's also kind of simple for an Ozzy Osbourne type of song. For example, it has Ozzy singing the verse sections without any instrumentation in the background. So I didn't like that aspect of it too much. But like I said, the album has a lot of guest musicians. For example, Slash plays guitar on this track in particular. Chad Smith of the Red Hot Chili Peppers is on drums. Charlie Puth is on keyboards. If you didn't know, he was somebody who started out on YouTube recording covers and he got big that way. Duff McKagan of Guns N' Roses plays bass on this track. So as you can see, he has an all-star lineup. But with that being said, I don't think the song is that great, so I'm ranking it right here. Coming in number 11 is Let It Die from Scream. This one was released in 2010. I think it's a very different sounding type of album. I still think it's very good. He has an all-star lineup. He has Gus G on guitars. He's a very well-known Greek guitar player. He's played with Firewind and other bands. He has Rob Blasco-Nicholson on bass, Adam Wakeman on keyboards, and Tommy Clufetos on drums. The song is pretty good. It stands out. It sounds very different from anything else on a typical Ozzy Osbourne type of album. It's almost like they're going for this alternative metal sound instead of just playing classic heavy metal. There's also one part towards the end of the song where they get really heavy and they speed up the pace. I like that part of it, but with that being said, the song is not too bad. Coming in at number 10 is going to be Not Going Away from Black Rain. This album was released in 2007. It has a very heavy sound, almost going into new metal territory. Still has that melodic and radio-friendly heavy metal type of sound. This one has Zakk Wylde back on the guitars. Mike Bordin is on drums again, and there's a new bass player named Rob Blasco-Nicholson, and he was on Scream as well. I think it's a decent song, not one of his best, but I thought the chorus was pretty catchy. I like the guitar solo, and Zakk Wylde's playing sounds similar to what he does on the other albums. In general, it's a decent track. I'm not going to rank it very high, but it's not too bad. At number 9 is Gets Me Through from Down to Earth. It sounds like a ballad at first, but it has a creepy intro. Then they hit you with the heavy riffs. The album came out in the year 2001. You can hear a slight change of sound as they're going for more of a new metal sound on this track. I think it's a good song. It has a darker sound and also added some keyboards in the mix as well. He also has a different lineup on this one. He still has Zakk Wylde on guitars. He has Robert Trujillo on bass, and this is right before he joined Metallica. He has Mike Bordin on drums, who is from Faith No More, and he played on a few of the ones afterwards. It's a different sound for Ozzy. It doesn't sound like the stuff he was doing in the 80s and 90s, but I like how there are different aspects to the song, such as the keyboards and the different sounding guitar riffs, so I like it. Coming in at number 8 is Mr. Tinker Train from No More Tears. This is a really good album, but as for an opening track, I don't think it's a great song. They probably should have opened the track or opened the album with No More Tears. But anyway, song is good in terms of music. It still sounds like heavy metal, but the song, as well as most of the songs in the album, have more of a radio-friendly sound. Not only that, this one has very dark lyrics. You can also hear they're doing some different stuff musically. They add in keyboards in the background. Zakk Wylde still plays some great riffs. The album has Bob Daisley on bass and Randy Castillo on guitar. The bass guitar sounds very good. There are parts of the song where you do hear the bass guitar up front. And finally, Zakk has a really good guitar solo. For this reason, it comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is Patient Number 9 from the album of the same name, and this is the opening track. It was the first single. It features Jeff Beck on guitar. I also know that Jeff Beck passed away in 2023, which was a year after this album came out. So it might be the last recording, but I might be wrong. This album also has an all-star lineup. For example, Andrew Watt plays guitars and keyboards. Robert Trujillo plays bass on this track. Chad Smith plays drums, and the song is not too bad. I thought the production sounded very loud. I could hear the difference compared to the other tracks. But I think it's a good song. I like the guitar playing. I think Ozzy still sounds very good. Although I'm sure they had to maybe alter his vocals in the studio. But I think the album is better than the previous Ordinary Man album. Coming in number 6 is Perry Mason from the album Osmosis. I've always liked this song. It has that cool intro. They followed up with those heavy guitar riffs. This one has Zakk Wylde on guitar, Geezer Butler on bass, and Dean Castronovo on drums. Good to hear Ozzy and Geezer playing together again on the album. Not only that, but the song has the legendary progressive rock keyboard player Rick Wakeman on this track. I believe he plays the mellotron, and that's what you hear in the first part of the song. There are also some cool isolated bass guitar moments here as well as an awesome guitar solo. I've always liked this song. For that reason, I have it at number 6. Coming in at number 5 is Miracle Man from No Rest for the Wicked. This was the first appearance of Zakk Wylde. I've always liked this album. It has a very unique sound that you don't hear in any of his other albums. They have a cool talkbox effect on the song, has a lot of energy. There are fast-paced drum beats, lots of those signature guitar riffs. Zakk has a way of playing the guitar that makes him stand out amongst the other guitar players. This has Bob Daisley on bass and Randy Castillo on guitar. I think the bass was kind of low compared to some of the other songs that came out before this. That's my only negative, but otherwise, it's a great song. And number 4 is The Ultimate Sin from the album of the same name. It's another good one. It has Jake Ely on guitars again. He has new members, and they have Phil Sowson on bass and Randy Castillo on drums. I like the bass guitar sound of this track. You could tell it's a new bass player. It's a good song. Ozzy's moving more towards a glam metal sound that was popular at the time. He did it very well. What's also cool is some of the riffs on the song are very heavy, but others sound melodic. So this song is a nice balance of the two elements. And number 3 is Bark at the Moon from the album of the same name. This is the first appearance of Jake E. Lee. It's a classic Ozzy song. I thought it was a classic. It has the sounds of the first 2 albums with some classic heavy metal. The song has lots of energy, some great riffs. There's also a darker tone on the song. If you watch the video, it looks very campy, like an 80s horror movie. It has Bob Daisley on bass, Tommy Aldridge on drums. Don Airey of Deep Purple does some keyboards on this track, so that's another plus. I've always liked the song. I think it holds up very well. Coming in at number 2 is Over the Mountain from Diary of a Madman. This track has Randy Rhoads on guitars and Ozzy delivering some darker vocals. I like the song a lot. It's another one of his many examples of classic heavy metal. This one has Bob Daisley on bass and Lee Kerslake on drums. I think the song really kicks off the album very well. It has a lot of energy. You can hear both the heavy metal guitar riffs as well as some melodic parts as well. This one also has an awesome solo by Randy Rhoads, and for that reason, I have it at number 2. And number 1 is I Don't Know from Blizzard of Ozz. It's a great track with the opening guitar riff by Randy Rhoads, the awesome bass by Bob Daisley. It's a great classic heavy metal album and song, and it kicks off the album very well. It's an example of what classic heavy metal is all about. It has electric guitars, the awesome drums, vocals by Ozzy that makes the song a little dark. It was still accessible enough for radio play, especially the part where they go into the interlude and they play that softer melody where Ozzy sings the part about believing in miracles and playing the game whether or not you win or lose. Really good song. I had forgotten how good it was. Usually when people talk about this album, the focus is on Crazy Train or Mr. Crowley. This is a really good track. For that reason, it is my #1 track. Check out my previous video about Ozzy and his albums of the 90s. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Please like the video. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you have not already. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. I will see you in the next one.